Welcome back, rock lovers, to another rock cutting video. Just like before, we're going to take these 10 West Texas rocks and cut them in half. See what's inside. Now, all of these came from West Texas. I got them in a bucket of rocks that I bought from Terry Smith out there in Alpine. The first batch I cut had some really beautiful details on the inside. Well, these? I'm not sure. As you can tell, they're clearly agates. Oh yeah, look at that one. And as you can also tell, these are very small, which means I'll get to use the small saw I have, the 5-inch blade. Shouldn't take too long to cut all these in half. Will we find any beautiful details, any banding, any color? We're gonna find out. Follow me into the shop, let's get these cut, and then we'll bring them back in here and take a closer look. And away we go. The first agate has been cut. If you take a look here, you can see it's clearly an agate. Look at that. There's some banding there. I don't know, maybe a little host rock on this side. What about the inside? Wow, I'd say we started off with a bang. That's a good looking little agate. I hope you agree. Let's have some fun. Let's grade these as we go along. I think this first one deserves, I'm gonna give this a solid A-. Next up was this quartzy little rock here. Was it going to have much agate goodness on the inside? Let's peek in here and see. Well, sure, you've got the chalcedony along the edge there, but it's a lot of quartz. And overall, I'd say this one's rather plain. So for a grade, I'm gonna give this one just a C. You saw that while cutting this one, it broke a little bit on me. That's okay. Enough of the rock remains that we can still see how it looks on the inside. The outside was interesting. Look at all of that. That red color. Is that just staining? I don't know. Let's check out the inside. Wow, I really like this one. I'm seeing not just the red, but also a purple color in there. Do you see that? I think that's very pretty. Sure, I like this one. Let's give this for a grade. I'm going to say B+. These biscuits are always fun to cut because you never know what you'll find. Sometimes they are stunning. Other times they're, well, rather plain. What was this one? Rather plain. There is a little bit of banding in there. You can just make it out, right? Sure, it's not great by any stretch, but at least it's something. So how do we grade this one? I'm going to give this, I'll say C+. Well, what do you think of this next one? An interesting agate to be sure. You can see from the outside it clearly has all of the telltale signs of being an agate. And, ooh. That sure is pretty. Oh, I like this a lot. Those colors, that pattern. Wow. This will be a tough one to grade. It's really nice, but it has that big old cavity in the middle there. I'm gonna say for grade, this gets a, well, I'm gonna say A-. Another small West Texas biscuit to get cut. Would this one be more exciting than that first one? Well, sure, you can see it looks like it has more going on. Look at that dark area in there. Did it? Well, I think so. I would say this is an improvement. Sure, there's not a lot in the way of banding down there. There's a little bit you can just make out, but that's the dark stuff that really stands out, right? What is that? I don't know. It's interesting looking though. See, it broke on me as I was cutting it. Still, with that dark stuff in there and the very faint banding, I think we should give this, for a grade, let's say a B. Yet another Texas biscuit to cut. On the outside, this one seems to have something going on. Sure, look at that. Oh, absolutely, you can see banding right there. So how does this one look on the inside? Ooh. Wow, you know what we have here, my friends? We have shadow banding. You can really see it on the left there. You see the banding, and as I turn it, it just sort of vanishes like magic. So there's no banding, banding. No banding, banding. The right side, yeah, sure does it. Banding, no banding. Wow, well that's cool. That's a nice surprise. Otherwise it's just sort of plain looking. But heck, with that kind of shadow banding, oh, this one's gonna get a good grade. Let's give this an A. An odd-looking agate on the outside, to be sure. From this side, it looks just like a traditional biscuit, but when you turn it over, you can see that it's got a lot of depth, a lot of relief to it. Now, what does that mean for the inside? Ooh. Well, that's pretty. More of that mystery dark stuff. I'm not sure what that is at the bottom there. And the rest is just that pretty light colored, because, well, I guess chalcedony, sure. I was going to say maybe an opal-y material, but it's probably just, well, it could be a combination. This white stuff here looks to me to be opal-y. And I see the light grayish, bluish chalcedony. Okay, it's a pretty rock, so how do we grade this one? I'm gonna say B. Another cut is finished. Another agate for us to investigate. Ooh. I think that's attractive. A little fractured, sure, but that pattern, that color, the flame-like pattern. What are we thinking for this one? For a grade, I'm gonna give this one a B. This last rock cut very quickly, and that's never a good sign. Now, it's partly because I cut through a very sort of narrow section there, but still, ew. I know, it actually looks kind of cool, right? But trust me, that's very coarse. I've got it wet right now, but that host rock around the edge of the quartz is pretty useless in the shop. Although, I gotta say it is somewhat attractive, just the contrasts and the colors. I'm not a huge fan of the quartz, as most of you know, and I don't like that very coarse host rock. But it does have the contrast and the color. So, to be fair, let's grade this. I'll give it a C. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun cutting into these West Texas rocks, and I think we got a couple of winners. In fact, I'm sure we did. Well, if if you enjoy looking at these rocks cut like this, then you'll really enjoy what they look like once they get tumbled and polished. That will be a different video. What I do with these cut rocks is ultimately I get them in the barrel and I turn them into tumbled stones. So keep an eye out for that video. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And be sure and check my other videos for more like this. Thanks again.